President Trump makes an announcement in the East Room of the White House on July 26. Jabin-Bot's fourth Washington Post PRRI is out with a new poll that should worry President Trump and Republicans who still support him. Keep in mind that the poll results, as dreadful as they may be, were collected before the neo-Nazi violence in Charlottesville and Trump's widely condemned response. Trump is plainly not gaining support over time. To the contrary, by a wide margin, President Donald Trump is substantially less popular than past Republican presidents George W. Bush and Ronald Reagan. Only 38% of Americans report a favorable view of Trump, while a majority 56% of the public express an unfavorable opinion of him. Trump is viewed far more negatively among non-white Americans than previous Republican presidents. Only 16% of Black Americans view Trump favorably, fewer than half of the number who have favorable opinions of Bush 34% and Reagan 49%. Moreover, the number of those favoring impeachment has shot up. Currently, 4 in 10, 40% Americans believe Trump deserves to be impeached, up 10 percentage points from 30% who expressed support for this action in February. A majority 53% of Americans do not believe Trump should be impeached and removed from office, a view held by 65% of the public in February. And this is before we have any report from the special prosecutor or congressional committees. In addition, approximately half 49% of the public believes Trump has violated the Constitution, while nearly as many 43% disagree. Voters don't share Trump's love affair with Russia's Americans express generally negative feelings about Russia and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Nearly 6 in 10, 58% Americans express a negative opinion of Russia, while only a quarter 25% have a positive view. Views have grown only slightly more negative since 2013, when 54% of the public reported feeling unfavorably toward Russia. The modest rise in negative sentiment was driven nearly exclusively by Democrats. More than two-thirds, 68% of Democrats express a negative view of Russia, compared to about half 51% who reported feeling this way in 2013. Only about a third of Americans consider Russia either an ally 8% or friendly toward the U.S. 26%. A majority of the public see Russia as unfriendly 31% or an enemy 24% of the U.S. At least Republicans have not increased their fondness for Russia. Overall, a plurality of Americans think Russia has meddled in our election. Two other data points stand out. First, on virtually every issue, Trump's support among white evangelical Christians remains higher than other groups. They more than any other group are unmoved by the events of the past 7 months. We'll see if his embrace of neo-Nazis and white nationalists' excuses makes any difference. Second, his standing among women, those with more than a high school education, and minorities is remarkably low. That shows up in views about impeachment and Trump's violation of the Constitution. There is a gaping gender divide in views about impeachment. Only about a third, 32% of men, but nearly half 47% of women, say the president should be impeached and removed from office. Compared to men, women have become much more supportive of impeachment over the last 6 months. Only 35% of women favored impeaching Trump in February compared to 26% of men, more than 7 in 10, 72% Black Americans and a majority 53% of Hispanic Americans say Trump should be impeached and removed from office. Fewer than a third, 31% of white Americans agree, a majority 54% of women, but only about 4 in 10. 43% men believe Trump has acted in ways that contravene the Constitution. Trump is far less popular than other Republican presidents and far less successful in keeping the support of independents, women, minorities and more educated voters. If he is forced out of office before 2020 or loses in 2020, it, in large part, will be attributable to Trump's reliance on a narrow base of support and his insistence on feeding them rhetorical red meat, which turns off a substantial majority of this diverse country.